everyone has to hear it at some point. I had to hear that I sucked.
Coach of the Year honors for 2 years straight.
I have my people interjected everywhere so I can get this scoop on everything.
The softball triple crown of greatness. Player, coach, leader. Being good at one is a blessing, but can someone be good at all three? Let's find out.
Welcome to the DSPN Softball Central podcast, your comprehensive look into the world of fast-pitch softball.
So from setting records at Long Beach State, earning Coach of the Year, and running a highly successful travel ball program, Jessica Beaver-Brambilla talks to us about the biggest difference between playing the game and leading from the front.
Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you, knowing what you know from your playing career to playing overseas to coaching, if you could go back and give your college freshman self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be, it's so short, the amount of time that you actually get to do this as a girl, right? So I wish I took it very seriously and I was very competitive, but I wish I would have just took a little bit more time. Like I took it for granted, I think, and I think everyone does when you're in the moment, but I think I wish I would have just really engulfed in it and told myself, like, you only get 4 years to do this and then it's pretty much over. And you did all this your whole life for 4 short years and it goes by before you know it. And, you know, you don't want to look at yourself at the end of your career and be like, could I have done one more thing? Could I have done one more time? So,
Basically, enjoy it more while you're in the moment.
right. Enjoy it more, invest it more. I mean, I was invested, but just like be there, be in the moment, because it's so short.
That's good advice for everything in life when you're having a good time, is to
Yeah.
try and slow down a little bit, enjoy it, smell the roses, so to speak.
This episode is sponsored by Ryan Contractors Incorporated. RCI is celebrating 14 years of being your go-to commercial construction general contractor. Visit their website at rciamerica.com for more information.
So you grew up in Hemet, and was there a rec ball league in Hemet where you started playing?
So I started playing rec ball in El Centro. I moved from Torrance to El Centro to Hemet. My parents are really good at picking cities. And I started there and then we moved to Hemet and there was a rec league and we dabbled in it a little bit. Like I would pitch. I was a shortstop pitcher. So I would like use the rec league just to get innings and work on whatever I needed to work on for pitching. And it wasn't that it wasn't competitive, but we just kind of made that travel ball switch. My dad was actually my travel ball coach. He started this thing called Mirage, I think was the first one we did. And then we all went to Hot Stuff, which AKA went later to Miners Gold and Larry Miner. And that was a big thing out there. And then just kind of slowly graduated from there. So it was a small little rec thing, but I was terrible. I wasn't very good.
I find that hard to believe, but
No, honestly, like when you look back, I wasn't very good until I was like 14, 15. That's why I tell girls, like, don't worry about it. It will come. Like, just keep grinding because I was terrible. I got cut from teams. My dad sat me a lot. I rode the bench. I wasn't even a shortstop until I was a center fielder. I was fast, but I couldn't hit, which is funny. I like could not hit. And my friend ended up popping open her finger, catching a ball, and that's how I became a shortstop. And then everything kind of flowed for me after that. But no, I was terrible. Like, I don't even think the rec leagues wanted me when I first started. So
Awesome. Now, you played for Bat Busters as well, correct? At some point? Yes.
Yeah, that's who I ended my career with. It was there was Gary Henning who started PGF, and then there was Tyrone who was right under him, and I played for Tyrone.
And how did that experience, high school softball, prepare you for playing in college?
I think Tyrone prepared us best. We actually used to have these notebooks, and we would come to practice and we would have to sit down and have a study session. So we would study the game. We would study the rules. We would study, crazy things like how big the batter's box is, how far the lines go, the bases, everything. We knew the dimensions of the game. And he taught us like all these things before we even did practice. So that was kinda cool. He prepared me in that way. Like, I know looking at a box, right? I know that it's 4 feet in front, 3 feet in back from that man. I know when a field dimensions are on or off, like, it's kinda funny that he took the time, and I feel like we don't do that anymore as coaches. We kinda started doing it at MSGC. Like, we actually had a pop quiz the other day, and half of them failed because they didn't know. And it's like, that all prepared me for college. I had to play behind someone. I never got to be the it girl, and I think that
Mm.
was the best lesson that my dad put me in. Like, he always made me the worst player on the team, and so I thought the guy hated me. I thought he thought I was no good at softball, and now looking back as a coach, I'm like, "Oh, he was setting me up for those 4 years in college to go run with it." and and earn it and know adversity. My freshman year, I had a little adversity as well, adversity in the classroom and adversity on the field. He set me up for that, and travel ball set me up for that. Like, just always having better people in front of me and always having to work to be better.
Wow, that's great insight. Thank you for being transparent with that. And I love just learning about like knowing the minute details of the game and
Yeah.
how that can propel you to the next level. So great.
So you go to Long Beach State. You're a 4-year starter there at shortstop, correct?
Yeah.
What was the recruiting process like in 2004?
Crazy different. So it started for me in Colorado is when I started getting the attention. UCLA, Washington, Cal, ASU, Long Beach State, and I had, like, Nebraska. They would mail you letters back in the day. So you got, this packet, and it was like, "Wow, I got this packet today," and I still have all the packets, but it was, um, really what happened for me is I met Kim Souter, who was the assistant coach at Long Beach State in Colorado, and I was kinda already in the door finishing up at ASU is where I was gonna go, and then I met her, and I just wanted to play for her. She was an assistant coach at the time, um, and then I knew my sophomore year that the head coach would probably be retiring around then, and, you know, she would be the head, and she just took me under the wing, and, Coach Jess now is a really responsible, good girl. Um, Coach Jess back then was not. Um, I thought softball was everything, grades were second. There was a lot going on in my life, so she kinda, like, called me out on it and was the most transparent person I've ever seen, and I just thought, "Man, I need to play for this lady because she's gonna make me a better person," and that's what I need in my life right now is to be a really good person, and then the rest of my life will kinda flow, and she always called me out, and she was a shortstop, which stuck to me, and so I was like, "Oh, she's gonna be on me, she's gonna teach me, she's holding me accountable," and that's what I needed in life at that moment. So that's what
Perfect.
took me over.
It's amazing that they mailed the letters. No.
No, they used to show up at school too. That was the cool part. So, like, Sue Enquist showed up at school to talk to us, and, you know, it was cool. Like, there was a Brandis Dew was his name, he was a quarterback at Hemet. So, Nick Saban showed up to school for
Wow.
him. It was just like, they show up, ask your athletic director, pull you out of class, and you were like, "Man, I'm cool." Like, these coaches drove all the way here for me, And they would call your phone at home, and you would have messages when you came home.
After a storied career at Long Beach State, you go to the Netherlands and you play all around Europe. What was that like? And had you been overseas before?
No, so that was really cool. I didn't know. Obviously, I told you guys I didn't know I was going to school for school, and I was going to school for softball, and so I got to my senior year, and I got to that second semester, and I said, "Oh, shoot, I'm gonna graduate. Like, what am I gonna do next?" And, I didn't know, like, my whole life, I was a softball player. Like, what was I defined as? What am I supposed to do next? And so, um back then they had the NPF and they had the Europe League, and you made the same amount of money, but you got to go to Europe. And I was like, I've never been. I'm never gonna have the opportunity to go. And so, or, my mindset, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to go. And so I was like, maybe I'll just try this. And so straight from college, went over there for 5 years. I played for 3 different clubs over there, and
Wow.
it was the best time. I ended my club with Rober, which is my longest run, and it was the best time of my life. We got to do spring training in Milan on Lake Como.
Oh,
Wow.
excuse
Right,
me.
right, like things that I see these stars live out their life, and I'm like, oh, I've been there. So I had a really good travel buddy my first year who like taught me everything because they take a break in like mid season and everyone just travels, and I got to go all over, see all these things that I would never get to see, and kind of shape the person I am now.
So after all that, you're playing overseas, and then you come back and you start coaching, right? So you go to your high school, and then
Hmm.
you're assistant. If I got this right, you get assistant at Long Beach State, and then you went to St. Catherine's. Is
Hmm.
that correct?
Yeah, you guys did your research.
We try,
Yeah.
and then after all that, you end up as the head coach at Mount Sac. My question, what I'm trying to get at, is when did you know that you wanted to coach, that you would be good at it? I mean, you obviously are with being named head coach.
The Inland Empire Athletic Conference Coach of the Year honors for 2 years straight.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samarra. Just as a timeout here, I am like fanboying all over this thing.
We talk about this all the time. We're just like, she's so awesome. I'm like, how does she do this? And she has 3 kids, and oh my God.
Like my heart is racing. I'm like, I hope she gives us an autograph afterwards too. So,
Oh my gosh.
so yeah, the
That's
coaching.
funny.
How did that come about?
I came home from Holland kind of sad. My brother passed away.
Oh,
So I
Jeez.
was like, okay, I'm going to come home and start life. And, I, if I want to coach or maybe think about coaching and all I really know is softball, I better start doing it before people don't know my name anymore, because your name is kind of everything in softball. So, I had a really good mentor in Jeff Galloway. He's the head coach at Hemet High. And he, basically like has been my mentor since I was 14, like has kept me on track, made sure my classes were good, would talk to me throughout college. And then when I moved home, he said, you're going to start coaching at the high school. And I just want you guys to know, when you're a player and then you guys go into coaching, it it's hard. It's really hard. Like your player mindset is, and I just got off playing. It wasn't like I like stopped playing for a while or whatever. It's like I left playing and like 3 weeks later I was coaching. So that was hard for me to understand why high school kids couldn't do what we were doing. I was like, why can't you figure this out? And like I kind of started, I was really rough when I started. I'm a loud girl, aggressive girl as it is, but like when I first started coaching, I was a little much. And then I had to, he taught me, and that was like the perfect place for me to start, was with Galloway, because he's known me since I was 14, and he would tell me when I'm right, when I'm wrong, hold me accountable, and let me know like, hey, coaching and playing is not the same thing. And it took a long time for me to understand that. So after that, I assisted at Long Beach State, and then I had my son, who would travel all around with us, and they were great. Coach Kim made sure we had rooms and that my son could come and my family could come. But then I decided D1 life isn't for me, because, I'd leave my house in Hemet at 4 in the morning and get home at 6 at night, and then have a newborn all night and then do it all over again. So I was just like, this isn't really what I want my family to be like. And so went to St. Catherine's and was the head coach over there. We won a championship, and then departed my ways from them, took a little break, and then became the head coach at Mount San Jacinto, which I feel like I should have never left Mount San Jacinto, because while I was at Hemet, I was assisting at Mount San Jacinto. And I just think the junior college route, it fills my cup. I've had the best connection with these kids. These kids need me. I need them. and just getting them to realize like they're good enough to go to the next level or continue softball or work whatever. They're there because there's something going on in their life, right? They're not there because they're not talented. They just didn't get in the right place at the right time. They didn't have the family means to do it. Something tragic happened in their life where they have to be there. They don't have the financial support. So it's like getting them to realize that they can do it on their own as young women. I think this is the place where I'll be forever.
It's how you talk about they fill your cup and you fill their cup, and it's just really refreshing and awesome to hear. And then with that, what is your fundamental coaching philosophy?
It's a hard one. It changes. We talk about me, Mackie, and Mal, who passed, but us three, we talk about, we have our unshakables, our three sets of standards. And those three we build off of every year. So, like, our coaching philosophy is first, let's character, right? Character of kids, hustle and heart, and, attitude, right? Like, character and attitude can be a little bit different. So, like, we have our three unshakable rules for those three things, and then we build our philosophy because we feel like every year, especially at junior college, we're rebuilding every year. It's not like we have 4 years with kids, we have 2. So we have
Right.
to rebuild every year. So we kinda, integrate to what the team is that year. This year and last year are not the same team.
Mm.
This year, I can push this team a lot harder. So now our thing is, heart and compete, is our 2 words. I literally make them memorize the definition of those, and they have to repeat it, like, on call or run. So so
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
and, so my philosophy is I have 3 unshakable rules. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. And from there, we build whatever we need to build per that team.
Just to elaborate on the JUCO stuff, a lot of people have misconceptions about the girls not being good enough for, say, a D1 school or something like that, and that's a bunch of BS because we're softball nerds and we watch everything. And when you watch those junior college girls play, they're just as talented as anybody else.
I think it's changing as well with the transfer portal rules and the,
Mhm.
2 years at a JUCO, 4 years of eligibility at a 4-year. If your kid's not ready academically, like me, myself, I probably would have benefited from a junior college year if I knew I didn't lose eligibility, right?
Mhm.
Academically, I wasn't ready academically. I was a terrible student. It's hilarious now that we sit back and I have 2 masters, but I barely graduated high school, to be honest. Like, and it wasn't that I was dumb, I just wasn't prepared. We played D3s this fall, we beat them. We played D2s, we beat them. We played D1s and competed for at least 4 or 5 innings and then ran out of pitching. It's
Right.
really just the financial backing. Yes, some junior colleges aren't that good, but if you go look at the elite top, they can compete against all these teams.
So you're fully immersed as the head coach at MSJC, and you give batting and pitching lessons, and you run you run the Crush organization. Is there a twin somewhere? Are you cloned? Where do you find the time to do all this? And then, as far as the Crush organization, how does it go beyond just winning tournaments with Crush? Like, other than obviously girls going to college, what do you think can come out of the Crush organization for all the girls that play there?
Oh, man. Well, I'm also a college professor, so don't forget that one because that's the one I'm
Oh,
most proud of.
that's Samara did the research on that, so I'll blame her for that one.
Uh, Out of Crush, I think a community. What's really cool and what's been happening, it's also annoying at the same time because we're so packed at Crush and you come in and it's like one team and then the next team and then the next team and we're trying to make it all flow. But girls hang out there. It's their safe place. Like, I have 6 or 7 girls during that week that sit there all night and just wait for a cage to open and pop in and pop out. And they just sit in the chairs next to my cage and we'll talk about life or whatever. I think it's really cool that they have a place that they can call home besides home, and they can have a place where they can be authentically them
Mhm.
and just sit there and not have to answer mom and dad's questions or recruiting struggles or, anything like that. And I mean, I get on all my girls. You guys know I get on all my girls and
Mm.
I'll tell you when you're doing good and I'll tell you when you're doing bad. But I think like we've earned this thing where it's a mutual, like you can tell me you don't like something too. And I'll be like, Okay, glad you said that. But that's what I want for Crush is a place that they can call home. A place that at the end of the day, they don't just hang their college flag, they come back and they visit. They get involved. A place where it just keeps filtering college athletes, but it keeps filtering community servers. Like, as in, you come back and you serve your community and you coach and you put your time in the summer and you want to be a part of the Friday fielding. You want to be a part of everything. You want to interject something into these girls that you wish you would have known at that time. So that's the ultimate goal of Crush when I was sitting back, and this all started on a whim and I'm crazy for doing it. And now I'm just full fledged in it. And there's different levels of softball. Not everyone has to be D1.
Right.
And not everyone has to be, you wake up every day and all you do is breathe softball. There can be different levels in Crush where there's those kids and there's the kids figuring out life. So that's my goal with Crush.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
You've really built a great organization. It seems that you have the pulse on what's going on every team. Very interesting.
Yeah, nothing gets by you ever. You know, people think, oh, well, I'll just put this out there. You know, Jessica probably won't see it. She doesn't check on it. Oh, there's Jessica chiming in. She saw that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
So.
I see things I don't want to see. I know things I don't want to know. I unfortunately know what the parents are talking about in the stands. I know the vibes of the teams. I go back and I literally sit on my computer at night and I rewatch games. I send notes to the coaches. I have my people interjected everywhere so I can get the scoop on everything,
Right.
I know. And
I know.
I know, and it's like I I look at Tillery and my husband sometimes and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't know, Like maybe I should take a step back sometimes, but I think it's good. We'll
No,
see.
yes, it's great. It's a blessing and a curse, but
Yeah.
it's what you do. It's great. It's really great.
I'm just with Crush, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm showing up every day and I'm giving my best. So as
Oh,
long as
I
it's
think you know what you're doing. Yeah.
There's a
I just
lot of accountability, but I think that's it. It needs to be that way in softball today. Like having an softball organization where the leader has a pulse on what's going on in the organization, and I think that's why your organization has built so quickly. And I think, what do you have?
so
16
fast.
teams, 15 teams, 16 teams. How many teams do you have?
15 in January.
Yeah, January. Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
That's a lot.
What are the two things you insist every player learns regardless of their position?
Wow, that's a good one.
Mm.
Humbleness. Um, I think that's something everyone needs to learn at some point in their softball career. They need to be humble or be humbled. I think it will take you a long way, especially when you go to the collegiate level. And I think knowing your why. I hope every player knows why they are playing, not why they think they should play, not what they think they should get out of it. Why are they getting up every day to do this? I think those are two things that every player, not even physical. I feel like softball, you're going to learn all the physical attributes that you need. But those two things, like the mental part of it, is what us girls need to learn as athletes.
Amen. Absolutely.
Makes perfect sense. So the name is Crush, and what does that word represent?
No, yeah, that Crush was actually created by Danny Espinoza, who played with me at Long Beach State. And he said, I'll buy you a building, but you got to start a travel organization. And he'd been bugging me for a few years. And I was like, no, no, no. But, I know enough travel people. I'll just put teams in our building. And then he's, no, you have to build an organization. And I was like, I'd rather not, And I was just going to start with one team. And I was like, I'm just going to do this team and that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to help them. And, now it's turned into this. So Crush, I gained from Danny. Now we're just kind of creating our identity as Crush Softball. And Crush Softball is a community. I want them to be known as gritty, hardworking, energetic players. And when you come to watch a Crush Softball team, there's a vibe about us. There's a energy about us. It's electric to watch us play, right? We look like we enjoy the game in the dugout and on the field. So that is what I'm trying to create in every team. And that when you come to watch us play, it's a different energy level. It's a different pace. It's a different culture. It's just oozing excitement.
And it does. It really does.
We're working on it. We sure are.
I think when people maybe in the beginning looked at the schedules like, oh yeah, we're playing Crush. It's we'll see what happens. Now it's like, oh man, we're playing Crush. Oh, we better get our stuff together because these guys have their stuff together.
Yeah, and
So,
we have 3 premier teams, and they're all doing really well and kinda setting the standard for everyone to build to, and I think that's good to have in Crush as well. Like, I think it's good to have, a hierarchy and that everybody wants to work to there, and eventually Bailey and I will take over 18U, and you will work your way to get to our 18U, and, it's all headed in the right direction, but like I said, I know what I'm doing, but I don't. We're just showing up every day and giving everything we got, and we're gonna build this thing brick
well,
by brick.
I love it.
so far so good in my book. I'll tell you that. So,
We sit down with each coach and have a phone call with each coach and build their whole schedule.
Mm.
And like, these are the tournaments you should be in. This is what we need to do. This is the path I think you should take until we're ready for this. Not everyone's made for PGF Premier. Not everyone's made for Triple Crowns. You got to start in C4s and earn your way. And I think, just earning your way up through the tournament schedule and preparing the girls so that, one, we don't just go throw them into PGFs and then they're heartbroken and like we're no good, right? It's like you have steps that you got to pass. And when you pass those steps, we'll get to the next step. And then I think it gives every girl medal of honor, like, oh, we're on to the next step. So we do that as the organization. We sit down with the coaches, we kind of plan out their schedule, tell them yes, no, maybe. Sometimes coaches will sneak one in and I see their schedule and I'm like, oh no, what did you do? But
you're playing 6 weeks back-to-back tournaments. What are you doing?
right. Not only that, like just some of the tournaments they pick, or we're trying to navigate this whole recruiting thing. And recruiting has changed so much. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I mean, last weekend we, through a facility organization, had 5 colleges show up, which was awesome because Dawn Battles got rained out for most of everybody, and it's a huge time for recruiting. And so I had a wild idea on Tuesday, looked over at Tillery. I said, no, Tillery looked over at me and said, hey, we should host college coaches here. And then I look at him and said, bet. Let's do it. That Saturday, I went out to the fields, 5 fields, and handed out flyers to every single college coach while they're watching other teams. And I'm like, you don't know us, but you should. Like, here you go. And so we got 5 colleges there to save a girls' weekend.
It does not surprise me that you went out and handed out flyers.
That's where we're at as an org. I can't just call people up and be like, hey, my name's, so-and-so. You got to come see this kid. They don't know me yet. Right? They know me. And there's a lot of college coaches like LMU and all them. They'll come up to me and give me hugs and be like, oh, Jess, da-da-da-da-da. And they'll tell the girls how great I am. But you still haven't came and recruited my kids yet. You don't know what my kids have to offer. So 5 schools showed up last week: Alabama A&M, La Sierra, Minnesota Moorhead, Dominguez Hills. MSGC was there, of course, and Benedictine, and they all came and they're like, you're a cool little secret over here. I was like, remember that this summer. So just getting the notoriety for Crush is really what we're working on as an org.
I was going to actually, we're going off a little script because exactly, I feel like the way you talk to the girls and the way you run recruitment could be a whole nother podcast in itself and getting that recognition. But definitely, what a great way to check and adjust, like, hey, we're getting rained out. What else can I do for my girls? And it just shows you as a dedicated leader going out and making those efforts to get those coaches in the Crush House. And so just really amazing. Great job.
Saw the one of the videos when they're doing fly balls in the parking lot. And it wouldn't have surprised me if any of those Crush girls dove. I'm glad they didn't.
No, they didn't.
But that just speaks to the ingenuity and how your brain works. It's like, okay, well, that road's closed. Let's plow this road.
Try another.
Oh, good. So talking about recruiting, given your background as a college coach, what's the biggest mistake you see travel ball players make when trying to get recruited? And then how does Crush address it?
I think the biggest mistake in college recruiting right now, or the atmosphere of college recruiting, is the D1 only mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Right? You are going to make or break yourself, right? My thing and what I try to explain to the girls, and we had Zoom calls this week, right, with all the teams, and sitting down and explaining them the difference between D1, D2, D3, NAIA, Christian leagues, JUCOs, in-state JUCOs, out-of-state JUCOs. It's all different. I think girls are going to hurt themselves tremendously if everyone has that dream school, right? But if that is the only school you want, go get it. I'll encourage you to go get it. If you want to go to LSU and that's all you want to do, go put your butt on LSU campus. But I ask these girls, like, what's your dream school? And they'll say UCLA. And I go, cool, who's the head coach? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? That's your dream school. If that's your dream man, you know everything about him. Like, you got to know about your dream school. And so I tell them, you know, college recruiting is a lot like dating, and I'm going to give you advice.
I was just
It
thinking that.
is it is find the richest one. Find the richest one and date him with the nicest stuff, who treats you nice. Because some of these kids are turning down D2s and NAIAs that have stadiums that are bigger than UCLA, that have fully funded Nike Easton programs, and they're saying no. And it's like, remember, we're not all going to go to the Yankees. Some of us are going to be, the A's. And we just you have to go to the school that you are going to leave with zero debt and start your life on the right track. So I think that's the biggest mistake about recruiting, is that you only look at D1. I've had girls in this org turn down D2 offers. And it's like, you can't. You have to go date all of them. And at the end of your junior year, when it's time to commit, take the one that's the richest.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right?
Like, well, because I mean, D1 it's sexy, right? Like the guy
It's
you're
attractive.
describing, right?
Right.
Yes, it's great. But if you're getting a full ride to D2 and it has the program that you want to learn about criminal justice or nursing or whatever it may
Mhm.
be, that's the better fit than if you go to a D1 and you have to major in, communications.
Communications.
Yeah.
That is what
Mhm.
my degree is in, communications. Why? Because I didn't know what I was doing. I was the perfect, I don't want to say victim, but I was the perfect victim to get, right? Because, like, no idea what I wanted to do with life, no idea what I wanted to major in, just wanted to play softball. And then I end up at my end of my 4 years and I'm like, what do I do now?
Right.
How do you make money? What do you do? I'm not going to be a Mike Trout ever in my life. We just don't make that money playing softball. So I think really teaching these crush girls about recruiting, and that there's different levels and there's different avenues, and that education and having an idea of what you want to do with your life. I never want a girl to feel like I did and be like, what do I do now? Or how do I define myself now? Which I'm lucky I knew softball and that's what I jumped into, but we're not all going to be softball coaches. And it's not that glamorous being stuck in a cage all day.
History has shown that just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach.
100%. Yes.
So, you're of course you're exception to every rule, Jessica.
No, it
so
took me a long time to be a decent coach. I'm decent at best right now. There's always something more that I can learn, or something I could do better, especially with this analytics stuff that's really cool. Like,
oh,
but I have the willingness to keep learning. I have the willingness to be like, oh, I'm not doing it right. Let me pivot left. Let me pivot right. Let me figure out the next thing. Let me research this. Let me research that. But, like, when I started, I was a terrible coach.
see, there's the
And
humble right there, right?
right. Yeah, but it's true. Like, we can't all, even the best coaches in the country, like Patty Gasco, yeah, she looks great, but it's pretty easy to teach talent. I mean, all those girls wake up in the morning and they wake up and they're excellent. But it's pretty easy to teach talent. I challenge these people to teach mediocre, and how do you make them talent? That's the hard part.
Well, I to kind of address what you're saying about the D1 college coaches, they're more of a like an MLB manager. Like the manager gets the talent. He's not developing the talent anymore. They have all the talent. So he's just managing where to put them, how to do all that stuff.
Developing the schemes. That's really
Right.
what it is. Right.
And then, but like coaching at other levels is truly coaching until until you get a guy that's on a 12U team and he thinks he can be a quote unquote manager and he's not coaching, and it shows the effects on the girls and all that stuff. So again, that's probably another episode down the road.
Oh, it's great because I really wanted to dig more into the recruiting. I hear that the call was an hour-long call you had with the girls, and I love that you're going to keep them accountable with some certain requirements, and getting into those habits, whether they're a 12U, 14U, you're building leaders, and that's what's so important. When you're talking to a college coach about a crush player, or I guess just in general, what are some of the non-athletic qualities that you really like to talk about?
So work ethic, like I talk about what they do, their plans during the week, how they post their videos, how they're in the cage for extra time. I talk about their student athlete, what they do in the classroom. I look at some of our GPAs as a crush team, and sure, we have the one or two that are struggling, but man, we're smart.
Yeah, you're also a mom and a wife. That let's not forget all that, because those come with all their own challenges. So how do you balance all that stuff?
Try my best every day, I don't like everyone takes a hit at some point. The thing that I can't speak enough about is I have a husband who is made for me. He is literally made for me. He puts up with me. He tells me no, but like in his way of telling me, I don't know if that's a good idea, but if I still execute it, he still lets me, you know. I'm feisty, you know. I
No.
yeah.
Really?
I didn't
I'm
get that at all.
yeah, I get a little mouthy sometimes. But I have a man that is literally made for me and helps me keep this all together. And I can't give him enough credit or enough shout outs. He's the one that keeps me on track. And then my kids, they're the coolest kids and they think that I made this org so they have friends. And at the end of the day, I think, well, at least they know their mom worked really, really hard.
And then I know you do hitting lessons. And what is a common piece of either technical advice or mental barrier you find yourself addressing with hitters today?
Mental, I'd say the confidence key, but the confidence key is that our athletes need to understand that you are going to get out. I don't think athletes understand that these days. Like an All American goes 2 for 4 in a game and she's an All American, but she failed twice. But you guys, as athletes, these young girls hold her on this pedestal, but she failed twice. But if you fail once, it ruins your whole day. Getting them to understand that mentally, that you're going to fail, you're going to strike out. It's what you do after that or how you adjust from there. That's really what we kind of work on in the cage. And then physical, I guess, would be these girls have no hips these days, right? So getting them to rotate, getting them to use their strength as a woman is their hips and their legs. That kind of thing is really what we work on.
Getting away from the all arms swing, right?
Right, because we're never going to have that power up there. You know, there is a physical difference between men and women, and we've got to use our whole bodies.
So, in your opinion, when should a player start specializing at a position, whether it's a catcher, or first base, or shortstop, or do you think they shouldn't start specializing?
Never.
Never. I love
Never.
that answer.
I
I
love
love that
that.
answer.
I
All right,
think
kid, you heard it. We're going to cancel all the lessons because you're just going to play every position.
yeah. Everyone, I think, something we don't do too, which I try to as the org, is it gets a little hard sometimes. I get a little irritated with it, but I try to support multi-sport athletes, multi movements. It just makes us more athletic.
Hmm.
Why are we limiting these girls to one thing? Water polo is going to teach you how to use your legs. Volleyball, you're using your arms. Track and field, you're getting faster. If girls in high school want to try different sports, do it. Plus, just the mental aspect, the mental break. I played basketball in high school and I was absolutely terrible. I was fast. My job was just to run to the other side and foul them. And I got 5 chances and then I got pulled out. I didn't know how to dribble a ball. I didn't know how to shoot a ball. I didn't know how to do anything. But I
Oh,
had to learn because I would get down there. And then my mom was tired of me making a fool of myself trying to get back with the ball. So she got me some basketball lessons, right? I don't think we should say, hey, you're just a pitcher. Let the colleges say that. I played with this girl, Lacey Tyler. She was a pitcher, an outfielder, and a shortstop. And she played all 3 positions throughout college. And it kept her in a lineup. So if we tell a girl that she's just a pitcher right now, we might ruin her being in a college lineup. Like, whoever's paying you, they get to decide, you know? And we should just support. You want to be a left fielder? Great. You got to earn it. You got to do it right. But you can be a left fielder if you want to be a left fielder. You want to be a catcher? You can be a catcher if you want to be a catcher.
It makes them a lot more well-rounded athletes. And if you're just focusing on you're using the same muscle group all the time versus when you're playing different sports, you're activating other muscles in the body, which can prevent injury because they're getting worked more regularly throughout.
Right.
Um,
And to like not carry on this, but the mental aspect, right? Like knowing the game. If you know what the left fielder or you know what you have to do in outfield, but then you have to go play shortstop and now you need to know the coverage is there. They're different. And so that's a whole different game. There's a whole different approach. There's so much to it. Like if you could play multiple positions, you're going to know so much more about who, what, where, when, how, when people are in the right position, when they're not, and you're going to be better equipped with your softball IQ.
yes,
yeah,
we
that's
talk a lot about softball IQ. That's
softball
huge.
IQ. Yes, absolutely. I love this next question, Samara. You go right ahead.
I love this one for you, Jessica.
Oh no, I'm nervous.
No. It's a good one because the way you handle yourself. How do you handle parents who are requesting more playing time for their daughter?
I try to be as truthful as possible. So listen, I'll say, hey, in my eyes, this is what I see. I might be wrong or I might be right, but this is what I'm seeing. X, Y, and Z. If those change, I can do what you need to do. But until I get that, maybe you're just not made for my program.
I love it.
Right. And so, and it's the truth, right? Like, not everyone in life is made for each other. Maybe you're made for my program, maybe you're not. But I try to be as transparent as possible. And some people don't like that. And I have parents that don't want to talk to me because they don't like the way I say something or do something. And unfortunately, everyone has to hear it at some point. I had to hear that I sucked. Suck coming from my dad, but I had to hear it at some point like, hey, you didn't earn it. You're not doing it. This is what you have to do. Just because you got a hit off the crappiest pitcher, but the other girl hit a line drive and the girl dove 5 times in center field to get that ball, she was the better hitter. And so I try to be as transparent and truthful as I can. I never try to sugarcoat anything. And I just try to say, like, it is what it is.
Again, thank you for all this. We're gonna do a section of the show that we call the seventh inning walk off, and it's basically a series of 7 questions. Some of them are trivia. Some of them are just opinion. And the trivia questions could have a 2-part answer, which means you could get an RBI. So the way it's set up, if you get all the trivia questions correct, you get 10 points.
Super competitive.
I was just thinking that I know that about you. So
I gotta win this and I'm nervous. Okay.
And the prize is a T-shirt and a hearty thanks. All right. So first question, and I'll be very disappointed if you do not get
I'm
this.
so scared.
All right. Who is the all-time RBI leader at Long Beach State?
Oh, Darian right now. What's her last name? All time?
Yes,
Is it me?
all time. I was waiting.
Is it
Is it
me?
me? Oh
Is
my
it me?
goodness. It's me. Yes, it is Miss Jessica
Oh,
Beaver.
she broke my single season. I thought it's me.
And can for the second part for the RBI, how
Yeah.
many? How many?
Oh gosh. Yo no say.
You give up?
Yeah.
115.
Ah, if I only had a ghost.
Oh, they put them out every month. You probably could find one, I'm sure, and go
Am I
back.
really the all-time leader?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Wow. I
Yeah.
thought that was broken already.
No, no, all time.
That's a
Congratulations.
20-year record right there.
Yes,
Look
it's
at
excellent.
you.
God, I'm pretty proud of myself right now.
Okay. And we're going to go through these kind of quickly. Just
Okay.
what is, and I know you probably have stuff,
No, I'm
places you
having
need
the
to be.
best time ever.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Oh, yay. Okay. What is the significance of September the 1st in Division I softball?
It is when colleges can contact you. They can contact juniors. And I think it's important to get a phone call or two, but I also think with the portal it's changing. And I
Yeah.
think the unicorns get the calls. They're throwing 67 at 16. So they're getting phone calls, right? But I don't think it's a disappointment if you don't. I think everyone's recruiting journey is different.
Cool. That's you got that one right too. So you have 2 points. You missed that RBI. Yeah,
I
you
did not
ground
know it was me. I'm pretty disappointed.
you grounded out into a double play there.
Dang it. No RBI on that play.
All right, another trivia question for you. What year did the NC2A take over sponsorship for college softball from the AIAW?
Oh gosh. I don't know.
1981.
Ah, I was gonna say the 80s.
For the RBI, the first Women's College World Series was held in what year? But it was under the AIAW.
Ooh, what year was the first College World Series?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is like, I want to say like 86, 87.
That's incorrect. Sorry.
Oh,
The first College World Series for the ladies was 1969.
69.
Yes,
Wow.
but
Not
the
6,
end
7.
not 6-7. But the first College World Series under the NC2A or the NCAA
Oh,
was 1982. So
see, I was close to that one.
yes.
Number 4, best and favorite glove you ever owned, and did you name it?
So, really funny story. All my gloves have names.
I didn't know that. Seriously?
Yes,
That's
wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
and so like I just retired from Soul Pitch, right? And I had Dolly Parton for years. She was royal blue with gold, and we put long fringe on her, long strings. We called it fringe, right? Because
Mhm.
the country singers always have the fringe. And every time she makes a play, my whole team would say, "Hey y'all," So I had I've literally made this a thing since I was young. I've had Stella, I've had Dolly Parton, I've had Goldie Hawn. Right now in my cage is Hottie Toddy. And so there's always a saying to go with it. And then I name everybody's gloves on my team. Like our second baseman, Sierra Rodriguez, she played at ASU. She played for Team Mexico and stuff. And so her whole glove was Mexico. So like every time she'd make a play, we'd be like, Odele, and like, so yes, I name my gloves. Yes, they have a persona. I give them that because I feel like they have to make plays for you and you need to give them a character. And yeah, Dolly Parton.
Another opinion question. Best shortstop in Division I softball right now.
I don't know right now, but I would say Sis Bates
Sis Bates.
she's recent, right?
Mhm.
Who
But
did she play for? Sorry, I don't know.
Washington. And now
Okay.
she plays pro ball, right? But Sis Bates was hands down one of the best to do it at shortstop.
Cool.
Jennings from Oklahoma, another good one. Those are two that stick out to me. They were game changers, difference makers, playmakers. Yeah, they just did things that the human body shouldn't be able to do. Sis Bates, if you ever, I tell girls, go look up that girl playing shortstop.
Oh,
Because the
wow.
plays that she made and the stature, she was a little short thing, and the stature she was, anybody can do it if she can do it, and she did it at the highest level in the best ways. So those are two that stick out to me.
All right. So we have two more questions, and this one is a two-parter. So this is two RBIs. Who is the NCAA Division I softball career home run leader?
Jocelyn Olo.
Oh, good one.
No hesitation whatsoever.
Wow. I know. I love it.
Yeah, give me this century questions. I got this.
Okay. And so obviously so for the RBI, what college did she attend?
Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
She's from
And
Hawaii.
she's from Hawaii. Okay. And then how many?
It's over 60, correct?
122.
Yeah.
Well over
It was-
60.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, but I know it's a lot. And she beat Lauren Chamberlains, who was also a Sooner.
Oh, nice.
Those dang Sooners.
Yeah.
All right, so last trivia question for you, Miss Jessica. What is the only team to have won an Olympic gold medal in softball besides the United States?
I know it's Japan, no?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But you're good. You're so good. For the RBI, what was the year?
Oh, it's when I graduated, like 2004, 8. Hold on. I feel like 2008.
You
Yeah.
felt correctly. Very good. Excellent. Again, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule. Just to kind of summarize about today is, the recruiting process has completely changed since the time that you were being recruited,
Mhm.
and you really focus with the Crush organization, getting these girls, helping them to know what they need to do, what they should be doing, and you hold them accountable for all that as well. You're doing all the right things, and we're very thankful to even be in your universe somewhere. Again, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And thanks again to Ryan Contractors for their support and sponsorship of this podcast.
And remember, everyone, you can find us on www.DSPN online. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at DSPN Plus. Like, subscribe, and follow on any of those social media sites. You can also find us wherever you find your podcasts. I'm Rob D.
I'm Samarra.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the DSPN Softball Central podcast.
Till next time, put the ball in play. You never know what will happen.
Ciao.